Hi, this is Randy Kirk, and I've been watching all the activity on Twitter and YouTube and all the conversations that are taking place. And it occurred to me that when the fourth quarter reporting coming up at the end of this month on the 25th, they have this question and answer period. And I have 21 questions that I want to submit that I'd like to have answered. I'd love to have them answered before then, but here are my 21 questions. And actually some of them have A, B, and C. And so maybe it's more like 50 questions, but in any case, let's go down, see if you think these questions would matter to you. These might help you to better understand where Tesla's going. I claim that Tesla is great at communication. Other people think they're horrible at communication. Elon's on Twitter all the time, listening and responding, but communication can always be better. There's never a limit. However, on the other side of the coin, we understand that there are competitive factors, even though you'll see me saying on other YouTube videos that I don't think competition matters. You still don't want to necessarily let the competition know everything about what you're doing until it happens or until closer to when it actually happens. So here are my 21 questions. I'd love to have you answer the questions if you know the answers. I'd love to have you shoot down the questions as those don't really matter. Randy, why would I need to know that? Or add to my list. Maybe we could end up having 50 or 100 questions that we could submit before that meeting. All right, here we go. All right. Let's start with energy, because you know I'm all about the energy thing because I see this just absolutely blowing the numbers on profits as well as revenues in the next 4 quarters, and even beyond that, certainly blowing the numbers even in a bigger way going forward into 24, 25. So let's start with the energy questions. What is the current run rate at Lathrop? We know we've had reporting specifically from Tesla that says that the max capacity is 40 gigawatt hours. What is the actual current run rate? We have people suggesting, including I think the evidence that I'm trusting right now suggests that it is probably pretty close to the max capacity of 40 gigawatt hours, but maybe not. Maybe it's at 25, maybe it's at 35. So what is the actual capacity at the time of the earnings call? How much are they doing at that point? Confirm, then reconfirm the max capacity. Is it really 40? Maybe the 40 was based on 2 shifts. Of course, you have a possibility of 4 shifts, 3 in a day, and then the 2 weekends. So by managing those hours in the right way, you can end up having 24/7 operation, which comes out to almost 4 shifts. So what is would the max capacity increase because they would have more shifts? Could the max capacity increase because they could do them more quickly as they become better at it? Can the max capacity increase because they can add more lines in the same space? We have no idea about any of those questions. So these are sub-questions under the sub-questions under the sub-questions. So, but that's I'm concerned right now about the one building, what we call Lathrop right now. Is 40 gigawatt hours the max capacity? When will they reach max capacity? And if that's 40, when will they reach that? But if it's really 80 or 100, as some are now suggesting because of some equipment purchases that have been, it's been obvious that Tesla has placed purchase orders for, maybe Lathrop itself, the existing building, can do 100 gigawatt hours. When do they expect to reach those levels? Then the next question is, are there other similar facilities planned? Could it be expansion of the existing building? Could it be another building in the neighborhood? Could it be another factory that might be put down in Texas or on the East Coast or in Canada or in Mexico or across overseas? People are saying today, several Twitter folks out there are saying, hey, they really need one in China. Boy, could they use one in India. Oh my gosh, they need 2 or 3 in Europe. Yes, all of those things are true. The application here is massive. The TAM, the total addressable market, is almost unlimited, as Elon has said. So love to know, what does the immediate ramp look like for 2023 and beyond? And then, of course, they just announced this meeting on March 1, and maybe that's when they're going to tell us more of these kind of details, because they did say that they will be talking about the future planning, the strategies and whatnot. And so that could be Master Plan 3, which could include a lot more details about the megapack ramping. Okay, next. What about the current production? I'm doing these in order, well, not the entire time, but at least at the beginning, maybe more or less in the order of what I care about. So number 2 would be the current production of 4680 batteries in Austin. So are they really only at 4 or 5 or 6 megawatt hours per year of production in Austin right now? Or at earnings call day? Is it really 10? Is it 12? Is it 15? What's the real number in terms of the Austin production? Now, separately, it might be nice to know what the actual production is in the Northern California facility, Cato Road or something like that. I sometimes forget that name. But I'm way more interested in how are they doing on the way to 1,000 gigawatt hours or 100 gigawatt hours in the Austin facility. What do they think the run rate will be on June, at the end of June, the end of the half year? What do they think the run rate will be at the end of the year? Do they anticipate getting anywhere close to the 100 gigawatt hours run rate in 2023? And how is that looking right now? I would love to know that information. A similar question on the same subject would be, will all of the batteries made in Austin be the nickel type batteries, or will they be using other chemistries in Austin for that 100 gigawatt hours? Similar question, another sort of question on the same line is, will the gigawatt factory, will the battery factory in Austin, is that really the max? Is 100 gigawatt hours the max? Is the lines that they have in now designed to run 100 max at Austin, period? Or could they actually get more than that out of them? Kind of like I said with Lathrop, by additional shifts, by additional speed, by additional lines, by any other format. Could they get to more than that in Austin? Do they intend to get to more than that in Austin? Next would be, when will the start of 4680 batteries begin in Berlin? And the next one after that is there any intention of doing 4680 batteries in Shanghai? I've heard that there are. I don't have firm information on that, but my understanding is they do plan to make 4680 batteries in Shanghai. What are the plans with regard to Berlin and Shanghai? What does the ramp look like in Berlin? When is the groundbreaking, or when are they starting to put in equipment in Shanghai? Love to know some more about the 4680 ramps. And maybe there's other locations. We don't know. Are there other locations where 4680 batteries could be made? Okay, let's see. Next would be, we're all the way down to number 7, which would be current production of power walls. Now, power walls is one of those things that kind of fades into the background. You're like, oh yeah, power walls. Forgot all about power walls. Well, that's a substantial business and it's a growing business, but we hear nothing about it. You know, I've got my ear to the ground. I'm always researching and always trying to find the best information that I can get for you, for my books, for here, for Patreon. So I want to know, what's the plan on the power wall? Are all power walls currently made in one factory? Is that all Reno? Is some of that back in New York? Are they making power walls in New York as well as in Reno? I'm not 100% sure about any of that. I'd love to know, where are the power walls being made? How many are being made? What are the max capacity currently capable of? All the same questions. What is the plan to ramp? Are there new power wall factories planned in Mexico maybe? Or the new facility that may be going up into Canada? Are some of these facilities going to include, power wall capacity? What about Europe? What about China? Certainly huge potential for power walls in those places as well. All right. Next, number 8, current production of solar panels. Forgetting the solar roof. I'm not as interested. I am so excited about the potential for the solar roof, but I am like that's so far down my list. But solar panels is massive, huge. I'm talking about the industrial type or institutional, what do you want to call it, industrial type solar panels being used in fields, on top of company roofs, on top of government roofs, on over parking lots, all the different ways that they're used other than the residential. Residential is important. I'm all for residential solar panels. I have them on one of my homes, but that's not what I'm talking about. What is Tesla's plan with regard to maximizing their ability to provide solar panels for institutional industrial type size applications, utilities, including their own power stations, the supercharger stations, et cetera. So what's happening there? What's the ramp look like? Or are they going to leave that more to others? I know right now they primarily buy cells, they buy finished panels. I don't know a ton about that, but that's my understanding. Okay, so that's number 8. Number 9, you would have thought maybe this would be higher on my list, but number 9, FSD. I've been asking for this forever. Give us some kind of information, some tangible numbers with regard to progress. The two that I can think of would be the number of interruptions per mile or per 100 miles, or however they might want to do it, and on a monthly basis, so we can see if it's going actually going down, fewer and fewer interruptions per 100 miles by FSD beta drivers. And the other would be the number of accidents caused accidents that FSD was responsible for per 100 miles or per million miles, or however they want to do it. But if we can see those two stats, I think it would give a lot of confidence to the stockholders. It would give a lot of confidence to folks that follow the company to know, is there progress being made on a statistical basis that we get to look at? Number 10. Oh, actually, that number 10 was the faulted accidents per million miles. Okay. Number 11, sort of related. As you may know, California does not allow Tesla to use their safety driving scores as the way that they determine how much to charge people for insurance. It makes no sense why California should be able to tell Tesla how to charge for insurance. However, that's California. And I'm guessing that the lobbyists for the other insurance companies are saying, hey, they have to follow the same rules that we do. They have to base it on how old the person is and how many tickets they've had and what the tickets were for and how many accidents they've had over the last 3 years and all these other things. But Tesla says, no, we don't want to do that. We want to just use the safety scores. Every other state, every other country so far has said the safety scores are fine. That's my understanding. Could be wrong in that, but that is my understanding. But California, no, they're saying you have to use the traditional methods. How's progress? My question would be, how is progress going in the conversation with California to allow the use of safety scores? California is the biggest market by far for Tesla. It's the biggest market in the United States. It's the 5th largest country in the world. And so it's a really, really important market for the insurance. I'd love to know how we're doing at getting that resolved. Number 12, switching to semi-trucks now. What is the load capacity for the Tesla Semi 500-mile truck and the 300-mile truck? It seems like this would be great information that everybody's going to need to know. Why aren't we being told? This is one of those ones where I just shrug my shoulders and I just can't figure out why that information just isn't readily available. Everybody's asking. I'm now asking, what is the real number? What can those trucks carry as a max? And still get their 500 miles, still get their 300 miles. That's, of course, what the question is. All right. The other one on semi-trucks is, what is actually the selling price? Last I heard, nobody knows what the ones that have been sold are selling for. Nobody knows what the next one will be sold for. Nobody knows what they're going to be sold for a year from now. So they have all these reservations with very large deposits. I suppose they don't have to tell us their negotiations on these trucks until they run out of reservations with deposits. But at some point, it would be great, I think, for the stockholders and for folks like you and me that follow the company to know what are they able to charge for these trucks. I think that would be very exciting information. The next one is, you've heard me and Brian Wong talk about this. Not too many other people are having this conversation, and it's surprising we believe that you have to, a trucking company that buys any more than 5, possibly 10, but certainly anything above 5 trucks is going to want to buy a mega pack. And over 10, you might want to buy 2, and it might continue to be either 1 mega pack for every 5 or 10 trucks. See other videos that we've talked about this on either my channel or on Brian's channel. So is that the right ratio? I'd like Tesla to tell us, what do they think the right ratio is? Is it 1 to 5? Is it 1 to 10? What are they telling their customers? That'd be very helpful in terms of interpreting the value proposition with regard to the trucks from the customer side, as well as for Tesla in terms of profits every time they sell a truck. Next would be number 15, the current run rate on superchargers. I believe that superchargers possibly should be a separate business. I think I have a video coming on that. Maybe it's already come out. I don't think so. I think it's coming out tomorrow or the next day. I think superchargers should be spun off. There are 40,000 supercharger stalls now, 4,300 supercharger stations. There's going to be 100,000 stalls within 2 years, with probably an equivalent number, maybe however many that would be. I'm not able to do the math in my head real quick. Anyway, a whole bunch of stations, a whole bunch of stalls, a whole bunch of ways to monetize those stations in terms of putting up ads or selling other stuff. So spin this one off. But in the meantime, we know that in order to get to 100,000 stalls in 2 years, the current run rate of 10,000 a year is not going to be enough. So what is the current run rate? Or how many factories do they have making these? Where are the factories located? What is the expected run rate by the end of the year, et cetera? Those would be interesting things to know, and again, helpful to value this supercharger business. Next, will Tesla earn any IRA money from the Panasonic factory? Big question. Kind of everybody's forgotten this question. It was a huge question a few weeks ago when the IRA passed. Panasonic has a contract with Tesla that seems to suggest that Tesla gets all the IRA money from the Reno factory. Don't know. Have they renegotiated? Who's getting that IRA money? Well, that IRA money matters a lot in terms of the profitability of the packs, the mega packs, as well as the Powerwalls. It's going to make a huge difference going forward. What is the real situation with regard to that relationship? How much of that IRA money is going to Tesla? The numbers are very, very large. Now then, the related question is, number 17, does Tesla expect to be able to negotiate with Panasonic on their next factories, because they're putting up 2 new ones, and or all of the other third-party suppliers that they have that are building factories in the United States? Are they anticipating negotiating part of that IRA money, that $35 a kilowatt hour? Do they expect to be able to get some or all of that as going into Tesla's cost of goods sold, lowering Tesla's cost of goods sold? Or are these factories thinking that they can absolutely take 100% of that into their own pocket, make the profit, and Tesla will have to buy at market? Where does Tesla think that's headed? Maybe they've already made deals. Maybe they won't want to talk about it because those kind of things sometimes are not something they want to bring on the table, but it'd be nice to know if they have a sense of how much IRA money might be coming their way in what's that word? Anyway, the circuitous way. All right. Next would be number 17. No, number 18. When will Tesla add solar and mega packs to their own charging stations? Great conversation today on one of the other YouTube videos I put up today, talking about, well, if you put up solar panels that you could sell to somebody and make immediate revenue, or if you send out a mega pack to a charging station, to a charging location that you could be selling to somebody for immediate revenue, then you're not getting the immediate revenue from that. You are going to result over time in reducing the cost of the mega charger effort. So you're going to make more profit every day from those stations, which is why anybody would buy them in the first place. So which hand is it smarter at this point? Should they be emphasizing selling, getting the revenue, getting the immediate profit? Should they be emphasizing putting them into their own situations where they can lower the cost of the operation and thereby make more money in the superchargers or other similar situations? Same thing with solar. Which is smarter? Are they going to do both? How do they see that going forward? It'd be a great question. I'd love to have the answer to that question. Number 19. Is HVAC in the plan for 2023? I've got this air conditioner. I mean, it's still doing just fine. And there's no evidence that I'm going to need it in the next 12 months, but there's going to become a point next year, the following year, somewhere along the line, I'm going to need a new HVAC system and I want it to be a Tesla. So yes, does this impact Tesla stock? Yes. Does it impact what we all want to see Tesla do in terms of becoming the greatest company on earth, that bar none? Yes, I think there'll be huge amounts of dollars and profits involved in them selling HVAC systems, and it becomes one more part of the ecosystem that Tesla will be doing in a home. I just be curious. There was certainly a statement by Elon that HVAC was a 2023 opportunity possibility. So let's see if that'd be a great question to ask. Number 20, does Tesla have a proactive sales strategy for fleet sales? If you've been watching my other videos, you know I'm all about fleet sales. The fleet sales are coming to Tesla without them trying. The sale of Tesla automobiles for fleets is an obvious thing. If the fleet manager if the financial people, the CFO of the company, whatever, if they spend 2 minutes looking at it, they're going to know, no, we should be using nothing but Teslas in the fleet. It's just dollars and cents. It's just numbers. But I've said for many, many years, you can have gold for $1 an ounce. But if nobody tells anybody about the gold being available for $1 an ounce, you'll sit there with your pile of gold. Nobody will be coming to buy it. So there's word of mouth and there's, people figuring it out on their own. But I think there should be a fleet sales organization. Does Tesla have any plans to put together a fleet sales organization? Do they already have one? Maybe I'm just whistling in the wind. Maybe they've got a fleet group out there that's doing great, but I don't think so. So do they have any plans to do that? Because I think it's the #1 way they could increase sales in 2023 without cutting into margins. It would be obviously an added expense, but the expense would be this compared to lowering prices, lowering margins. And then finally, does Tesla plan to make semi-trucks, are also known as large trucks? Do they plan to create a factory in China to do large trucks, the biggest large truck TAM in the total addressable market for large trucks in China is, I know, several times what it is in the United States. Do they plan to get a factory going there? Well, there's my 21 questions. I'm exhausted. I'm breathless. I'm hoping you like the content. I need subscribers. I am shooting for 100,000 subscribers in 2023. Can you help me get there? So subscribe. Obviously, that is great if you like it. I want your comments. You can see I'm answering any comment that's done with any kind of thought. I'm trying to answer those comments. So comment. I love the dialogue. I'd love to hear what you're thinking out there. And then if you're at all interested, I'm putting together a Patreon group. I think it's going to be a really fun group. I've talked about that before, spitballing, brainstorming about the future and about the future of Tesla. So you can sign up for Patreon. And hey, it's been great talking to you.